Hi, I'm Claudia with Pivotal Peace, and I am your go-to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting special needs children, and I'm also an LDA, legal document assistant, in the greater Los Angeles area. So this is Finish Your Divorce Fridays, where we talk about how you can finish your divorce, right? Because once you start it, it doesn't magically finish. So how can you finish this divorce without going to court? And this is one of the things that I absolutely love about mediation in California. Because if you can reach all terms of your settlement, if you can agree on everything with your spouse, and the judge is like, cool, he signed or she signs off on it, you don't have to go to court. It's not that way in every other state. There are many states where even if you've agreed on everything, you've got to come to a judge anyway, but not here in California. So once you have gone through filing for divorce and served your spouse, and you guys have exchanged and filed your financial disclosures, all that's left is to tell the court how everything is going to be divided. But if you can't agree on how everything's going to be divided, then what you need to do is figure it out. And a lot of times people use a mediator, and sometimes they use a mediator for all issues. But a lot of times people use a mediator for one or two issues because maybe they've worked everything else out. Or maybe those aren't the contentious points. So they need that mediator to help them have that conversation, help keep them from getting caught up in that old conflict. And then once you have an agreement, then you can give those terms to your legal document assistant. If you happen to be working with an attorney, you can give those terms to the attorney. At this point, then what needs to happen is you need to pull together the necessary court-required paperwork to document this settlement agreement. Now, there are a couple of schools of thought. But what I do, because I am not an attorney, I have to be very careful to avoid the unauthorized practice of law. So you're not going to be seeing me drafting something with all of these court references and, 25 pages of legalese. What a legal document assistant does is they draft things according to your direction as the client. You tell us what you want to write. And then there's a really great website, the Judicial Council Forums in California. They just really lead you through. It's very user-friendly as a consumer to go through and figure out what are the next forms that I need to do this. But so you have these forms. You've got to enter if your spouse did not file a response, then you have to file a default with an agreement. A lot of times when we're in an amicable situation, as most of my clients are, we only do disclosures once. We waive those financial disclosures at the final time. You can't waive them all, but you can waive the final entry of financial disclosures. You both have to sign on it. If there's children, there's some child support forms that you've got to fill out. And then, in your judgment, you've got to talk about property. You should talk about the timeshare of the children, holidays, how you're going to be handling any other extra expenses. And the court makes it really easy because their forms make it really, really easy for the clerks, because that's who reviews your judgments a lot. And then the judge signs them. So the clerks are those first gatekeepers. It makes it easy for the clerks to look at your documents and go, okay. Oh, that looks good. Let's pass it on to the judge. This is also, once those final documents are drafted, this is also the time if you are consulting with an attorney. Maybe you've used a mediator and a legal document assistant, but you did not get any legal advice. You did not retain an attorney. This right here is the best time to go consult with an attorney if you haven't done so already, because you haven't signed anything. So take those forms and go, okay, this is what was drafted. Have them review it. They will, I promise you, they're going to tell you to change something. So just be ready. Get your spouse ready. They're going to just tweak a few things because remember, they can give you legal advice. They can advocate for you. They'll tweak a few things, change the language here and there. The purpose of this is to make sure that your rights are protected, to make sure that the agreement is very, very clear. We don't want any vagueness, because if somebody comes back and be like, I know we're divorced, but now I'm angry about something. And, well, my agreement is kind of vague, so let's just try to take him back to court and see if I can get some more. No. So you don't want any vagueness. You want to be very, very clear. And then once everything is signed and notarized, and there's online notary, so you don't have to leave your house if you don't want to, then you could we get it sent to the court. Now, once again, we cannot control the court. We cannot control the court. Just like you can't control the DMV, you cannot control your local courts. Do not try, please. So sometimes courts reject things for silly reasons, or sometimes it's just a technical error, a clerical error, and sometimes the court has changed their rules, but they haven't told anyone, and so this is how you find out that their rules have changed. It's a rejection. That's so normal. That is so normal. Please do not think, oh my God, it's a rejection. I'm never going to get divorced. You're not asking for permission at this point. You're not asking the court for permission like that. Like, Daddy, Mommy, can I please get a divorce? No, you are just continuing to jump through the hoops until the court is satisfied. And that's what we do. Sometimes when those rejections come, it can be frustrating. You just resubmit, correct the mistakes, resubmit until the court says, okay. All right, so thank you for joining me on Finish Your Divorce Fridays. If you have any questions, please reach out, comment here, schedule a phone call. We can talk about your situation and what would be best for you. Guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.